Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. Tonight we're going to bring some more new inventory that came in this week. We'll start with this big beast here. If we look at it from the back, it says John Deere Chuck Wagon on it. Yep, it was a big old farm truck. Where I picked this up at, they told me this was like some sort of a silage bed or something like that. Don't really know much about it, but really not terrible shape. A lot of the wood stuff's still there. So don't know a lot about that contraption other than it's big. But what it's attached to is a 1953 Ford. This was obviously a bigger truck used on the farm, and quite honestly, it was used pretty hard. This is definitely one of the rougher ones that came in with some other stuff on a package deal, but there's still bits and pieces here. So when I got it all bought, I definitely wanted to bring it in, put it in the road, because there's going to be stuff people are going to need off of it. You know, this door here doesn't look too bad. It's still got the short running boards on it. But the more we look around this truck, it just led a rough life. The fenders are dented, the hood's dented. But that's what they were. These were work trucks. Had kind of a homemade grill guard here with their lights mounted to it, but the problem was it was a little bit low because the grill got whammoed in the middle as well. And we think about what people do with trucks today, how they're kind of put up on a pedestal, you know, the really high dollar, really nice builds out of old pickups. They've gotten so popular. A lot of people just forget what they were. They were this. They were work trucks. That's the only sole reason they existed. And this is kind of an example of that. And it definitely shows. We can see where it's been banged, it's been pushed out, repaired, stick welded on the cracks, because that's what they were. We can see over here, this was an F600, so it was a bigger truck. So this truck just has a lot of nicks and knickknacks, bits and pieces, things like that on it. But just like a lot of this stuff, if it's flat, none of it's any good. So we went ahead and brought it in. We can kind of see some more of this contraption over here on the John Deere Chuck Wagon bed. Not really sure how any of that operated, but quite an ordeal for whatever it was supposed to do in its day. We can take a peek inside this truck real quick to see it is pretty much intact. Inside still got the original seat, all the dash pieces and everything are in there. Apparently it had an extra safety latch here. I assume this was to keep the door shut. I'm not really sure, but back in the day, it's what you did. You did what you had to do to make them work, because that's what these were. They were work trucks. They were utilitarian. They had to do the job every day. So if something was wrong with the latch or something, maybe that's what they did, because this truck had to be working. So it's kind of funny when we look at what happens to trucks today, and even the way people use their new trucks today as regular drivers, basic transportation, to think back that that's what these were, is work trucks. We can kind of peek inside here. There was some sort of a bar with some teeth on it that apparently spun. Not really sure what that contraption was for, but like I said, don't know much about this bed other than it is kind of neat looking. Don't know if it's good for anything, but it's definitely a unique piece. Next one we got for you tonight, we're going to check out a 1956 Pontiac Star Chief that I also picked up this week. This yellow and white four-door here. Kind of an interesting story about this car. This car, if we look down here on the back, it was last tagged in 1976. This car actually was about 2 blocks from my dad's house where I grew up. And we moved out there when I was a kid in '79. And this car was sitting in that same location when we moved out there, I think, because I never, ever remember this car not being there. And with the last tag of 76, that kind of correlates right in that time frame. So it was kind of weird that when this car came up for sale, and I managed to get it bought this week after literally staring at it. You could actually see it when I left my mom and dad's house when I was a kid growing up. So I've been looking at this car for probably for 40 years and ended up getting it bought last week. It is a Star Chief, which is kind of cool. It's got the stars on the trunk. It's got the hooded taillights, which were Star Chief only. It's got the exhaust ports on the rear bumper. And it's got the spears on the sides of all this Star Chief trim. This is a regular four-door sedan. We can take a peek inside of it. The dash cluster is gone, but the rest of the dash is pretty much still there. There's a couple of extra radios in it. Even still has the Star Chief script on the speaker grill on the other side of the dash, which are typically busted off. Car's pretty solid. Like I said, I know it's been off the road for a long time and sitting up on blocks. A few pieces missing off the front. The bumper and grill assembly is gone, and this other front fender is gone. Left front fender's there, looks really good. You pop the hood, take a look underneath here. Still got the original Pontiac V8 in it with a 4-barrel. And other than the fender, this side of the car doesn't look too bad. We've still got the Star Chief strips on the doors, the side trims here. And as we come down this side also, we see we've got the big spear on this side and the hooded taillight for the Star Chief as well over here. So, kind of a neat car. Neat for me to get it after looking at it for all these years. You know, basically a rough old four-door, you know, but a lot of good stuff here, especially with the Star Chief only stuff. A lot of the trim on this car is Star Chief only and getting pretty tough to find. So, kind of a neat piece. We'll put her out there in the row with all the rest of the 55 and 56 Pontiacs that I've got. And I know there's a lot of stuff that people are going to be able to use off of this one. So, as always, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you hanging out with me for a few minutes this evening. If you're on Facebook, please share the video with your friends or into other old car groups that you're involved with. And if you're new to us, like the page, check us out. That way you can stay up to date with all the new videos that are coming out as new inventory comes in, as we go out and see different things in the car world. So like the page, jump on with us regularly. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with those videos as well. Everything we do on here is old car stuff because that's pretty much all I know. Cars, trucks, automobilia, that's what we do on here, as well as events. So if you have questions about vehicles or parts, the only way to get a hold of me is to call me at 620-786-4428. That number's on the page. Having that short conversation about your build, year, make, model, body style, where you're going with the build, what you want it to be when you're done is the only way I'm going to know if I have something here that might be able to help you out. So there's so many variables in all these old vehicles that getting as much information as I can get from you is going to help me know if I've got something here to help you out. So as always, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you stopping by tonight. These videos are a lot of fun to do, but if you guys weren't here hanging out with me, there wouldn't be much point in them. So thanks for taking some time out of your evening to hang out with me, and we'll see you soon on the next video.